with your host, Mad Max. That's me. I'm your boy, the Jew you thought you knew. Uh, Under Title 17 USC Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips. The balance in favor of fair use. Let's go. GrassrootsKC.com. GrassrootsKC.com should, at this point, be your only stop that you need. And you know what? You could save you some money. In this economy, in these trying times, who doesn't want to save a little bit of green? You know what I mean, baby? So go ahead, check out grassrootskc.com. Under 10% money back guarantee. Save yourself some money. Use code MAX10, 10% off all your purchases, no minimum. Discreet, beautiful delivery, Farm Bill approved, Trump approved, everything approved. It's all good, baby. It's all good. Thank you for being here. Those of you tuning in or will tune in at some point in time, I appreciate you. Had a wild week last week with the football games. Excuse me. End up going 11-5, which is better than the week prior, where we didn't do terrible by any means. It's part science, part guessing, and part something else. I don't know exactly what, but it is. And, you do the best you can with the information given, injury reports, et cetera, and you see the matchups, see how teams have been playing, what they've done in order to try to improve their situation, whatever it may be that they're lacking in. And you know what? You make educated guesses if you want to call them that. Fine. Great. We can do that too. But my shit is a little bit more scientific. As you know, we're averaging 11 wins per week for the first 3 weeks. And we got 11 this week, 12 the first week. And I don't remember whether it was 9 or 10 in week 2, but week 2 was a bad one, the worst one that I've had. And I've but since I've been doing this, I've never gone below 500 in any given week. So like I said, I usually average 12, 13, but we'll see. It's been a wild season so far. Not making any excuses. We're not always right all the time. And if anybody says otherwise, that individual is full of shit. So something to keep in mind. And aside from that, adjust this little guy right here. Hey, little fella, how you doing? There you go. There you go. You can see this big, beautiful Russian Jewish fucking body with this beautiful Jewish star David had with his beautiful tattoos. This beautiful human being in front of you, just like all you people, all you beautiful people, the beautiful people. And then we got the stupid people out there. The stupid people that get them up with these ridiculous fucking conspiracy theories about Israel and this, that. Just shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear another fucking word about it. If any of you motherfuckers come across my path and say that stupid shit, I'll smack you around the fucking mouth and knock the stupid out of you. I'll hit you so hard, your fucking next 3 generations of children will be fucking cursed. I got the answers to the questions that your ass hasn't even thought about asking yet. You dumb motherfuckers, stop talking shit on Israel. Don't say anything bad about Russia. Concentrate on your sports. Focus on that. That's what you like. Just keep it stupid and simple for yourselves. Don't try to get into anything. You're watching some of these guys over here on YouTube. Oh, fucking ballistic expert, fucking sniper. I want to fucking. I've been doing this for 30 years and they call me Gunny. Stupid motherfuckers. Then you got your other motherfuckers that all sound like Alex Jones. Well, it's got to be Israel. Israel made my fucking sandwich wrong today. Israel. Blame everything on Israel. Sandy Hook was Israel. Mossad. Definitely Mossad. Israel. Stop being stupid. Stupid people, there are plenty. They're everywhere. You can't get away from them, no matter how hard you try. And there's no cure for it either, so we haven't come up with that shit. So I'm just telling you, I don't care if you like what I have to say, you don't like what I have to say, I really don't give a fuck. I'm going to be myself. I'll do my show the way I do my show. You don't like it, it's too bad. You can move on, you can move out. It's okay. I will put up a link here. Anybody who wants to come on, always welcome to do so. It's a fully interactive show. And I always appreciate every single one of you sons of bitches. And I mean that in a good way, like a term of endearment. But at the same time, there's a lot of people out there, casual viewers, people that come on the show every once in a while, whatever, look of kind of browse, window shop, whatever you want to call it. And that's fine too. That's all good. But, you know, the things I put out here at times when it comes to things other than sports, I guess, then, you know, that's an audience that generally is going to be, they have their mind set is what I'm trying to say. And they look at things one way and they see things one way. And I think that you're not going to change anybody's mind about anything. If somebody believes something strong enough, that's probably going to be true to them. Doesn't mean it's true. It's just they believe it that much that it has to be, right? Of course it does. Otherwise, it's just silly and nonsensical, isn't it? At that point, it's all just speculation, hearsay, and just spreading misinformation, disinformation, and trying to sit here, disrespect other races, other groups of people. Some of you guys out here on social media, not just YouTube, but on some of these gun channels, and like I said, some of you experts. That's why I put some of these compilations together and threw some stuff in there. I'll even, after we get done with these pics, I'll show you the one I just uploaded. And you can tell me what these flying particles that nobody else has shown, that I tried to show the other day, but for whatever reason didn't come through. But that's been that way before, so we'll see before YouTube takes it down again. I don't think they want you to look at those particles that are behind them flying around, but we're going to look at them and you're going to see for yourself in super slow motion after we get done with the main portion of the show, which is, you know, talking about sports and shit, which I like. I'm a huge fan of it. I enjoy sports too, but I also, not unlike a lot of other you individuals out there, gentlemen, ladies, all right, and in between, whatever. I don't care if you're gay, you're straight. I don't care if you're Jewish, you're Christian, you're Muslim, you're Catholic, you're atheist. I don't care if you're a vegetarian, a vegan, a fucking. I don't think if you think you're a fucking turtle. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I just don't like being lied to. And like I said before, you lose credibility when you do stupid shit. And you know, let's talk about sports, and then we can talk about this other stuff, if that's what you want to call it. It's not even news. It's just conjecture. And at this point, it's so sloppy and ridiculous. And anybody who's going to be an attorney for whoever they have in custody for whatever crime they committed, other than, I don't know, being there possibly, I don't know that the FBI has done any justice by not shutting the fuck up. Yeah, you might piss off people by not giving out information, but if you're in an active investigation, until you know everything, you got everything sorted out, shut the fuck up. Otherwise, you know what? Any even shitty attorney is going to use what you said against you. You're going to use your own words against you. You've been, Kash Patel, been talking too much, been saying too much, been looking stupid, been sounding fucking stupid talking about. I've been looking at the evidence and how close and personal you are with Charlie. Well, in that case, you need to recuse yourself from this and put somebody in here that wants to find out the truth. Because right now, you're putting out a bunch of bullshit, and I'm not afraid to call it. And that's me. Like it, you don't like it. What you see is what you get, motherfucker. That's it. I tell it like it is. I'm not sugarcoating shit for anybody, and I'm not fucking mincing words or holding anything back. You see me reading a fucking script anywhere? Is there a fucking script? Did I miss it? Somebody, my writer's not writing me a script. Jimmy Kimmel, where you at, bitch ass motherfucker? Yeah, nothing? Okay, that's what I thought. I have a smart audience. I have an intelligent audience. I have a loyal audience, and I greatly appreciate it. And that's why I enjoy doing what I do. It's difficult for me to be consistent, but that's due to medical reasons that I'm not about to get into at this point in time. I can't wait to share my story and tell you how fucked up this place can be and how fucked up this place really is. But it's got its good, it's got its bad. You got to have both, otherwise, you'll never understand or appreciate either. Facts. There we go. Let's start out with tomorrow night's contest between the Seahawks visiting Arizona and what may or may not be a haunted stadium at this point. I don't know. Don't know. Not saying it's haunted. Not saying it's not haunted. I'm just saying they just having a dead body and a funeral in there for like 6 hours, whatever. It's probably not a big deal. Both teams 2-1. Seattle 1.5. Over under is 43.5 points. Money line. I'm going with, you know what? Both of these teams have been really good, and surprisingly, Sam Darnold has been doing a great job. I can't believe I said that, but I did. I'm sure that right now Minnesota wouldn't mind having old Sammy D back. Just saying. If I hit preview, how long is the preview? Because you never know with these sons of bitches. Oh, there's no audio, so all good. How long is it? Too fucking long. But go here to the injury report. And we'll see. Cam Ward, questionable. Ziegler, questionable. And Latham, questionable. So a guard, an offensive tackle, and a starting quarterback are all questionable. Houston, you got 2 offensive linemen that are both questionable, one with illness, one with ankle. And then you got a corner, Stingley Jr., who's questionable with an oblique. I don't know what to say. This game is going to be interesting, but you know what? Ultimately, I feel that we probably have enough juice and we could show enough fight to where we can confidently say the Texans tomorrow night. So we're going with the Texans to get off the schneid, because right now both of these teams have yet to win a game. It's kind of a big deal. Nobody wants to be winless, or excuse me. You know what? I was looking at the wrong game. We went with Tennessee. That's a, so we're going, let's backtrack. I pushed the wrong button and I apologize. Nothing I said as far as the odds, over, under, money line. I'm still going. I'm going to go with Seattle and Sam Darnold. And obviously now I'm going with the Texans, but that's okay. That's okay. That's all right. So Thursday night, we have Seattle. I hope Sam Darnold is going to be able to continue to produce. He's got a young, talented core, and nothing against Arizona, Marvin Harrison and company, and Kyler Murray. I think they're going to be fine, but we're going to go ahead and go with the Seahawks in that one. Next, we have the early game Sunday in Ireland, in Dublin, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And we've got Minnesota, 2.5 points as far as odds go. Over-under is 41. I'm taking Pittsburgh. And before I even look at the injury report, which we obviously will take a peek at here. J.J. McCarthy, Donovan Jackson, and Ryan Kelly, doubtful and questionable. And then obviously McCarthy, he's going to be out. So, battle of backups in Pittsburgh. We got a safety, linebacker, and a cornerback out, all on the defense side of things. So, are we going to be able to see an explosion out of Jordan Mason and Justin Jefferson and company on the offense? Well, we have yet to find out. But I feel pretty good about Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, and company about pretty much everything. I've loved what I've seen so far, and, a very versatile team that seems to be heading in the right direction. So this week, once again, we're going with the Steelers. We don't make up things. We tell it like it is. Dun, 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 dun. And backtracking again. So that's the Dublin game early. We just did the Houston Texans and Tennessee Titans. Like I said, on that one, I went with the Texans, the Seahawks, and the Steelers so far. Next game, the Battle of the Unbeatens. It should be a fun game to watch. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be one of the better games out there as far as injury reports are concerned. We got Zach Baum, questionable, Jihad Campbell, questionable, and Adoree Jackson, all questionable, all on the defense. And for Tampa, we got Logan Hall, defensive lineman. We have Tristan Wirfs, tackle, and not sure whether Chris Godwin's going to be back or not. They were talking about him potentially making a comeback and being available, but unsure so far. And whether or not Mike Evans, I know he was a little bit dinged up with, I believe it was a hamstring, if I'm not mistaken, or a groin. So he came out a little bit early, but I feel, plus they got Desmond, that big fella they just signed here, the 465-pound man in the middle to try to stop the tush push. I think it'll be a fun game any way it goes. Could be a trap game for the Eagles, to be perfectly honest with you. Do I think that Tampa Bay can pull off this upset? I don't think it'll necessarily be an upset. I think both teams are really good. I really believe that you can see both of these teams potentially in February of 2026 in the big game. You don't know. Still a lot of time left. But I'm going with my gut on this one. I like Tampa Bay, even though I believe that Philly has just as good a chance to win. Philly's a 3.5-point favorite, 43.5 points as far as the over-under goes. This one's going to be on Fox. This is an afternoon game, just like the Tennessee Titans and the Houston game goes. We're going to go with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has not let us down. Neither have the Eagles, except when they played by Chiefs and they won. Shit happens. What do you do? What do you do? Moving right along here. Next game, we got the Chargers going to New York to face the Giants. I feel that this is a pretty easy game to call in way of just watching how these two teams have played throughout the season. I don't feel that the Giants are structured well enough yet to be of any real threat to anybody, so I don't see this as a trap game. I think San Diego right now is simply too good, and I think Russell Wilson has done not a good job. They didn't do well against the Chiefs. They haven't done well against the Eagles or the Cowboys, rather. Was the Cowboys or was the Eagles? You know what? I don't give a shit who it was. I don't remember the first 2 weeks. I barely remember yesterday or this morning. But injury report, we've got 3 guys out. questionable rather. 2 questionable, 1 undisclosed, all offensive for the Chargers. Savion Washington, tackle. Trey Pipkins, the third tackle. And Will Disley, tight end. And then Giants, Ard Green, a corner. Malik Neighbors, questionable. He's bread and butter of that receiving core. Demetrius Flanagan, fouls. Linebacker, all questionable for the Giants. I have to go with the Chargers. Got to do it. Got to do it. And, an AFC West rival, I understand. But, it's not about who you like. It's about who you feel has the best opportunity to win the game. And on that one, they've got the Chargers at 6.5 point favorites with an over under of 44 points. I think the Chargers can light things up. And New York, they're just not a good team. They're just not a good team. I don't know how else to say it. They're just not a good team. They're not. At least not yet. But I think the Chargers, like I said, we're going to go ahead and stick with the Chargers and move on to the next one. Carolina, New England. New England, 5.5 point favorites at home. 43 point over under. Both teams are 1-2. And let's see who we've got available and who's out. We've got for the Panthers, Tavian Sanders, the tight end, doubtful. Jonathan Brooks, the running back. He's on the player, unable to play. Looks like possible return. And he was out with an ACL injury. I don't think we're going to see Jonathan Brooks. And Xavier Legette, wide receiver, questionable with a hamstring. So obviously we're not going to see him at full strength and full speed. As far as the Patriots are concerned, Kalen Kason, questionable. Linebacker with a knee. Christian Gonzalez, cornerback, questionable with a hamstring. And Jared Wilson, center, questionable with an ankle. Drake May has done better than Bryce Young, but not by much, honestly. The rushing game has been the biggest issue, in my opinion, honestly, both teams. And as far as receptions go, honestly, you give the edge there to the Panthers. I think that Mike Vrabel is going to take care of business this week, get off the schneid, and I think New England gets a win. So we go with the Patriots. I always write things down, otherwise I will forget. Now I've learned that lesson very well. It's still, we're in the afternoon games, and whether I said the Patriots 5.5 point favorites with an over and under 43, and that game is on Fox still in the afternoon. I don't know if I said it, but now I know I did. So there you go. Dun dun. Moving right along here. Next one, we got the Browns, who had a win, if you can believe that, going to Detroit to face the Goffin man, the Goffster, Gerard, who showed up big and played big against the Ravens Monday night. And you know what? It was a fun game to see the Ravens lose. So good job to Detroit. We got Detroit favored by 10 and over under of 44.5. Cleveland somehow beat Green Bay last week. I know. It's wild. But, and there's a big but. We've got Denzel Ward out, Grant Delpit out, and Mike Hall Jr. out. All for Cleveland, all questionable. Currently, they're not supposed to be playing, but that could always change. You never know. But as of right now, questionable. And then In regards to Lions, Sion Vaki, running back, but they've got help in the running back position. Levi on Wuzuriki. He's on the player unable to play return with an ACL. I don't know how much snaps he's actually going to get if he does play. Then safety Daniel Thomas is also questionable. I like the way Goff has played, obviously, and he's played well. Flacco, for what Flacco is, he's not a bad quarterback. He's just an old guy. What do you want? He's not a spring chicken anymore. Obviously, without having to say any more, we're going to go with the Lions on this one, to Detroit. Lions! Detroit! There we go. Next game, we got Buffalo, New Orleans. The Saints traveling Buffalo Wingland. Bills favored by 15.5 with a 48 over under. Let's see who's on the injury report there. Yeah. We got Taysom Hill on the injury report. Player unable to play, return, ACL again. Another player unable to play, return, Foster Moreau, and Dylan Radune's offensive lineman questionable. And then as far as the Buffalo Wings, we got AJ Epinosa, defensive end questionable, Spencer Brown, tackle questionable, and Michael Hope, defensive end reserve suspension. So he's probably not playing. It's hard to say anything bad about Josh Allen. It's hard to say anything good about the Saints. And I don't think this is going to be any kind of trap game or any kind of upset. So it's going to go ahead and go to the Buffalo Wings of Buffalo. Extra wing sauce, baby. And that is going to be an afternoon game as well. So now we've got, looks like, one more afternoon game, and that's going to be the Commanders traveling to Atlanta, one of my former stomping grounds. Norcross, baby, represent Jimmy Carter Boulevard. What's up, fam? Meadow Creek High School. Boom. Yeah. That's right. One point favorite Washington. What a 45 over under. I don't know about that. That seems just a little too conservative for me. But that's why I always stick with money line. Why? Simple. More opportunity to win. That's what we look at it if you want to do, parlays, whatever. But if you want to minimize your losses, if you decide to gamble, take the money line. You're either going to have a winner or a loser. Yeah, of course, you can go into overtime, yada, yada, yada. There's no winner. But even with that, overtime ought to be played a full quarter until there is a winner. Fucking simple. It's not like in basketball, they give you, you get a possession. You shoot free throws to the win. You shoot the most free throws out of 10, then you shoot free throws out of 10, and whoever makes the most free throws wins. No, they don't do that shit. Play a whole fucking quarter. See if the score is at the end of the quarter. If it's still tied, play another quarter. I don't care how many fucking quarters it takes. Motherfuckers are getting paid, and you know what? People pay enough money to watch these motherfuckers play. Play that whole fucking game. Kiss my ass. All of it. Kiss my entire black Russian Jew ass. Play your game. Get paid your millions of dollars. And shut the fuck up. Don't get injured. Anyway, Back to business. Sorry. It's the Tourette's and the autism kicking in. My bad. Jaden Daniels, questionable. Sam Cosme, player unable to play, return. Another knee injury there. And then Trey Amos, cornerback, also questionable. Dirty Birds, James Pierce Jr., defensive end, questionable. Kadero Hodge, wide receiver, questionable. Kyle Pitts Sr., tight end, questionable. I don't know. Let's say Jaden Daniels doesn't play. All right. He's got a solid enough backup that I feel confident that Washington could probably get this done against the Falcons in Atlanta. So we're going to go with the commies. That's right. The commies. The commies. What do you call them? The commies. It's short for commanders or commies, whatever. And that is the last of the early games, including the one early Sunday morning in Dublin, across the pond, in Ireland. It's over in Europe, United Kingdom area. Okay? There's a time difference. Don't be like Bad News Marvin Barnes and think that if you go in an airplane, it's a fucking time machine. No, there are different time zones. Just saying. And he ended up driving to the motherfucking game. You don't know who Marvin Barnes is. That's a story for another show. He's a fucking mess. He's a piece of shit. Spirit to St. Louis. God bless him. Anyway, let me write this down. And as always, I post all the pics on the public posts on the YouTube. You want to check them out? I don't change them. I don't fuck with them. The only thing I edit or alter on the public posts is every time there's a new subscriber, I recognize that and I add that, or subscribers, however many, whatever. I always add new subscribers and recognize them, and I appreciate it. So all you guys and gals out there are awesome, and I appreciate the opportunity to earn your viewership. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Next, we've got Duval County and the Jaguars going into unbeaten San Francisco and facing Mac Jones, I believe, and the 49ers. Let's see what. You know what? I thought I read it off there again. Sleep deprivation and shit, man. It'll fuck with you every time. This one's on Fox. Afternoon game. San Fran, 3.5 point favorites. 47's the over-under on this one. We like San Fran. However, we will confirm the latest on the injury reports for the Jaguars. Patrick McCary, offensive lineman out. Wyatt Milam, offensive lineman, questionable. Both questionable. I won't say they're out. They're questionable. But an elbow injury on a lineman, pretty important. And then, a knee injury on a lineman, also pretty important. Then running back, Bashar Tootin, running back, questionable with a shoulder. Juwan Jennings out, wide receiver for the Niners. Brock Purdy, questionable. We'll just assume it'll be Mac Jones again. And Nick Bosa is out with that knee injury he suffered last week against the Arizona Cardinals in a close game. So Mac Jones has been playing good. T-Law, surprisingly, playing good as well. I think him and Travis Etienne are finally starting to find their rhythm like they did when they played together back in college. So, this game could be a trap game and a potential for an upset. But there's always a but, isn't there? In this case, in this circumstance, in this situation, in this scenario, we're going to go ahead and stick with San Fran and the 49ers to go ahead and take Jacksonville. I think it'll be a closer game than people give might think, but ultimately, I think San Fran's got it. I believe that Mac Jones has proven that you probably should have stayed in. You know, New England could have kept Joe Milton the third, Bazooka Joe. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking, getting rid of some of these quarterbacks they've gotten rid of, and Drake May. Like I said, he's Mitchell Trubisky in the Patriots uniform. That's it. I don't know what the fuck you people are looking at to say otherwise, but yeah. Next should be a really good game. Looking forward to it. We've got the Colts, Daniel Jones, undefeated, going in to Los Angeles to face Matt Stafford and the Rams, who nearly beat the Eagles, but they didn't. They had a considerable lead for a considerable amount of time, but were not able to capitalize. Now, do I think they learned from that game? Do I feel that they can rebound and redeem themselves and get a win? Absolutely, I do. But I also think that Indianapolis has one of the best running games, along with one of the best running backs currently in the league. So that's going to make a huge difference if you can move the ball on the ground, eat up clock, and then translate that into scores. So it'll be a good game. Right now, they got LA as 3.5-point favorites with a 49.5-point over under. That game's going to be on Fox. Let's look at the injury report here. And of course, this is brought to us by Yahoo Sports. For the Colts, we've got cornerback, a guard, and defensive tackle. DeForest Buckner, pretty big defensive tackle to have out. Matt Goncalves, a guard. Toe, he's questionable, and doubtful is Kenny Moore, the second cornerback. On the Rams side of things, we have safety Carmen Kitchens, defensive end Brandon Fiske, and Colby Parkinson tight end. All questionable with two shoulders and one oblique. You know, it's going to be tough if the Colts have Kenny Moore the second out, because that means that you've got Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, and an array of other weapons that are available to you. Now, Daniel Jones has been lighting it up, and Jonathan Taylor's been lighting it up. I think Williams has been doing a good job on the ground. I don't like that they threw that lead away against the Eagles in a game that they could have and should have won, but they didn't. You know, it's one of those things in this particular game, just because of your players on the defensive end, like DeForest Buckner and Kenny Moore II not being there, that tells me that there's a good possibility that you're not going to be able to get to Matt Stafford and create enough pressure to make him uncomfortable or uneasy. And that's not to say that that's going to happen, but it's a very good possibility, seeing as how you don't have anybody on the offense that's on the injury report, say for Colby Parkinson, and they've got plenty of help in receiving wise to make up for it, whether it be with Adams, whether it be with Nacua or others. So I think that it's going to be a great game, probably one of the better games, and I think that the Rams are going to win this game. So we're going with Los Angeles to take the Colts. This will be the first time I went against the Colts, by the way. But like I said, when you have key players on the defense that have huge responsibilities and they're not going to be available, that's going to make it a lot more difficult to win. So moving right along, we got the Bears of Chicago going into Las Vegas to face the Raiders in the Death Star. And the Raiders, you know, defense is soft right now. They're not playing very well. It's just a fact. It's a fact. Geno has been very streaky. Caleb has also been streaky. He had a good first half when they played this past week. However, I'm still not sold on Caleb Williams. I don't know that he's the guy. I still believe that Badgett is the future of that team or of another future or another franchise in the future. So I feel strongly about that. Vegas and Pete Carroll and company, I think that they have a good chance of beating the Bears, but they've got Chicago favored by 1 and a 47.5 point over under. Let's look at this injury report. Let's take a peek. We got for the Bears questionable as far as linebacker, tight end, and running back in that order. TJ Edwards, linebacker, Cole Kmet, the tight end, with a groin, and DeAndre Swift, the running back, with a hip injury. And then for the Raiders, safety, Jeremy Chin, questionable pectoral. Decameron Richardson, cornerback, questionable with a hamstring. And then tight end, Michael Mayer, questionable concussion. So that leaves you with Rome Odunze, possibly no DeAndre Swift. And, of course, you're going to have DJ Moore, obviously, out there. Yeah. Geno, I wish I could trust you more. I really wish I could. I want to so bad, but make it so hard. Things are contagious. Winning, losing. In this case, as much as I want to go for the Raiders, because I think that they can find a way to win, I just, I'm going to go with my gut on this one, and I'm going to say Raiders. Going with the Raiders, not changing my mind. I don't know that I picked Chicago to win anything at any point this time of year at all, and I'm not going to start now. So, yeah, Raiders. Next, we've got Baltimore visiting right here in Kansas City to face my Chiefs. Baltimore's a 2.5 point favorite, a 48.5 point over under. This is also a late game on CBSSS. You already know what I'm going to go for. I'm just double checking the injury report because last I checked, we're going to have the Buccaneers, the Ravens, Ronnie Stanley, the tackle, questionable. Isaiah Likely, tight end, questionable. And Travis Jones, defensive lineman, questionable. And for the Chiefs, Mike Dana, defensive end, questionable. Rashee Rice, obviously suspended, he's out. And Kristen Fulton, the cornerback, questionable. Whether he plays or not, I really don't care. He's been less than impressive. Lamar's been doing Lamar stuff. Pat has been doing Pat stuff. There's been mistakes on both these guys. They've managed to have a pretty good rivalry over the last, 5-6 years, if you want to call it that. Mahomes came in 17, didn't really play except for the last game of the season where, he threw one interception, but they ended up winning the game. Lamar came in 2018 out of Louisville. So, they faced each other plenty of times. They know each other very well. These two clubs are very good. The Chiefs are shorthanded when it comes to their bread and butter, which is going to be their passing game. The running game has been lacking considerably, especially since your leading rusher is your quarterback. Derrick Henry had that big fumble on Monday night, and that cost them big time in way of potentially winning the game. So I think that if the Chiefs dedicate and don't sell out the run and let it develop and be patient, utilize Kareem Hunt, utilize Pacheco, utilize, I forgot the rookie's name. We got a rookie, I can't remember his name, and then we also got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which I haven't seen as of yet, but I know he's there. So run it and then involve the passing game and implement it. Just play basic football, play smart football, and the Chiefs will win this game. You got 4 aspects. You got offense, defense, special teams, and coaching. You do a good job in all those. Don't throw backwards passes on multiple occasions and expect to get lucky and be able to get out of it. It doesn't always work out that way. So, Chiefs. Dun, 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 dun. Moving right along. Oops. Easy, killer. Easy. Now we have the Sunday night game. I'm looking forward to it. Green Bay going to Dallas. Big D, Jerry J. The return of Micah Parsons. Dun, 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 dun. I'll tell you what. Green Bay is favored by 7. The over-under is 47.5. Let's check this injury report. I already know who I'm going with, but I want to see the injury report. Christian Watson, John Williams, and Josh Jacobs. Player unable to play, return back for John Williams. Player unable to play, return the ACL. That's Christian Watson, and then Josh Jacobs questionable with an ankle. I'm sure Josh Jacobs will be back. He's Josh Jacobs. Javonte Williams has been a beast. He was a beast in Denver. He's a beast now. Dak. Never been a big Dak fan. Sorry. Don't get mad at me. Been there since 2016, if I'm not mistaken, when he got drafted. I mean, you got Bazooka Joe. I would use Bazooka Joe. If Turpin would have played hard, he could have had that touchdown that was actually picked off, but it wasn't because it was a poorly thrown ball. It was because you had a receiver that didn't want to put the work in to make the catch. But he thought the game was over. Game was done. That was it. CeeDee Lamb, hasn't been impressive. And as far as the injuries for Dallas, Tyler Booker, offensive guardman, doubtful. Josh Butler, cornerback, player unable to play, return, and that was an ACL. I can tell you about knees. And Ron Bland, the cornerback, questionable. So I'll tell you right now that I'm going with Green Bay. They probably have something to prove more so than Dallas, in my opinion, because they're a better team, number one. Number two, they need to make up for that loss last week to the Browns. That's unforgivable. That's just wrong on every level. So we're going with Green Bay and the Packers for the Sunday night matchup, which ought to be an awesome game. And I enjoy making fun of the Cowboys. That's one of my things. So if you're a Cowboys fan in Dallas, I hope they lose. And it looks like we got another double header on Monday night. Oh, boy. Except they timed this one out to where both games are going to be on, and there will be an hour difference as opposed to keeping you up till, I don't know, 11, midnight. I don't even remember how late the game was, but it was late. The first Monday night matchup, the Battle of the Beatens. The Jets of New York, 0-3. Dolphins of Miami, 0-3. Miami, 2.5-point favorite, a 45.5-point over-under on ESPN. Let's look at this injury report. Kene Ngagu and Ngagwu, the running back for the Jets, questionable. Sauce Gardner, cornerback, questionable. And Jay DeFule, the defensive tackle, illness, questionable. Okay, so we got a bunch of questionable players for the Jets, plus Tyrod Taylor, who is still somehow playing. But I didn't know. I hadn't heard from Tyrod or about Tyrod in a while. And Aaron Glenn and the Jets, they almost had a W last week against Tampa Bay, but they didn't. But you got to see Aaron Glenn do a little shaky dance, huh? That was fun. Mm-hmm. Man. Dolphins injury, cornerback Storm Duck, questionable. Jason Marshall Jr., cornerback, questionable. And Darren Waller, tight end, questionable. Darren Waller returns, retires. Got 2 corners out for Miami. You got to have Garrett Wilson to deal with, who's been on fire. Wes Breece Hall running around. But there again, you've also got, you know what? I don't even want to pick a winner in this game, so I forfeit it. Just kidding. I am going to go with the Dolphins. I feel that if they don't win this, they're going to have an uphill battle, and they might as well just, I don't know, start looking for a better way to make next season better. And the Jets just, I don't know. The Jets suck. I don't know how else to tell you that. They've sucked for a long time, since 68. But, whatever. Just saying, all you Jets fans right now, for New York football fans, it's tough, I know. Having a bunch of teams that haven't won anything, it's not easy, I get it. And then the Bengals and the Broncos. The Bengals, who ate absolute ass last week against the Vikings, got the shit kicked out of them. And the Broncos, who played a closer game, but still ended up losing. Man, Denver is favored by 7.5. The over-under is 44 points. This game is on CBS. Let's take a look and see what we got here. As far as the injury report, the Bengals, they got Pirine, Stewart, the defensive end, and Eric All Jr. at tight end. Player unable to return knee, but he was an ACL, questionable. Pirine with a thumb, questionable. Stewart, defensive end, with an ankle. And then for the Broncos, you got one guy on the injury report, and that's the tight end, Evan Ingram. He's questionable with the back. As much as I despise the Broncos, we're going to go with them this week. I feel like they have an advantage being at home and the higher altitude against a team, the Bengals, that haven't played well at all, and it showed. So far, last week was just an ugly loss of just nastiness. I think that even 100 yards worth of penalties by the Vikings, literally 100 or even more yards of penalties by the Vikings, they just destroyed the Bengals. And like I said, both teams from Ohio generally end up fucking me. So in this case, we'll see what happens. The Broncos, you're either going to do me dirty or you're going to do me right. Either way, we're not going to change up on anything. So, to recap, we've got our winners: the Texans, the Seahawks, the Steelers, the Buccaneers, the Chargers, the Patriots, the Lions, the Bills, the Commies, the 49ers, the Rams, the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Packers, the Dolphins, and Denver. And that, my friends, was Max's weekly winners. And of course, I'll write all this down. That way it's in the public posts and you can look at it. I don't change it. 13, 14, 15, 16. All right. 16 games, averaging 11 as opposed to 11.3 wins. So if I were to bet the money line, just the money line, and I don't gamble unless I, buying sports cards or something, but I don't like to open wax. It's not fun. Used to be fun. I've got unopened wax I can do right now, but don't feel like it. Don't want to. I got plenty of it, but no. Anyway, I'm gonna switch gears now, and we're gonna go and we're gonna look at this fucking video. All right. And, listen, I could either start a whole new stream, cut this one off and call it good and leave it alone, or I can go ahead and continue on and we're going to talk about the bullshit that's been being fed and spread by the mainstream media, social media, media in general. If you think that Israel had anything to do with Charlie Kirk, and you think that it's suspicious that Netanyahu is reiterating that, it's because they also have social media. And when all this bullshit, which is not accurate or truth at all, is being maliciously spread around, yeah, they're going to make a statement. Pretty fucking simple. I don't think that's anything suspicious or nefarious. So don't get it twisted. I'm pulling this up right now, so bear with me. Not blood. All right, now we got no evidence. Disprove Charlie Kirk shot from behind. This is the kind of shit that I'm talking about. Divide and conquer. Divide and conquer, and that's what ends up happening. That's exactly what ends up happening. You got so much vitriol and discourse between individuals that it's just nonsensical. It's so fucking stupid. It just makes you crazy. Don't get caught up in the bullshit. Be intelligent enough. I put out a few videos where I've had a ballistics expert, a sniper trainer, former military, plus medical experts, whether you want to call them doctors or not, doesn't make any difference. Tell you about entry and exit wounds, etc., etc., etc. So you need to be able to take information and decide for yourself what's real, what's not, what truth is, what's false, the narrative that's being pushed, who's got something to gain from it, and why would you do it in the first place? So now it's not blood. I haven't seen that video yet. I don't know. We can watch it and then I can show you my stuff. Hold on. You know what? Hold on. Let me make sure this is up here. Let me get this up here. Not blood. I haven't seen this one yet, but I have seen this individual and some of his stuff. And welcome back. You know what? Let's just watch it.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. And the Charlie Kirk, I guess we can call it a debacle at this point, continues to get even weirder as there's been some new footage and some new really big videos, two that we're going to look at in this video that have come out in the last couple of days. Yeah, the first being from Range Day Bro, very good video showing Charlie Kirk was shot from behind, and this was an exit wound. That video, you've probably seen it. It's got like 5 million views, incredibly viral. And then this morning, a video comes out. First time we've seen footage from behind Charlie Kirk from Jesse with Fire's YouTube channel, maybe debunking some of the shot from behind, but also maybe not. Okay, so I've gone through both these videos. I found some things that are very, very compelling. And then I found some things that are showing maybe this isn't as conclusive proof as we thought about both of them. All right. So that's what we're gonna do in this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps the channel. Let's jump into it. First video we're gonna go through is the Range Day Bro video showing Charlie Kirk potentially being shot from behind. There's some very, very important things that we're going to take a look at with that video before we look at the brand new footage that just came out today. All right, so the overall theory here is that Charlie Kirk was actually shot from behind, upright. That round hits him at the base of the skull potentially, and this is actually an exit wound that we saw. This is a very good video. Looks very, very compelling, but there are some problems that we've now identified with the new footage. So let's check this out.
Yeah. Which unfortunately, we will blur out Charlie's face, but we will show what is necessary to prove that this was an entry and exit wound. So you'll see him circle the highlighted area right there, and you'll see the exit wound corresponding after, split second after, as it would from an entry and exit wound. So in this footage, you can clearly see that Charlie is shot from his back right, and there is blood splatter.
Okay, so this was very, very compelling at first when we talk about this. When you see this, that round, if it hits Charlie in the back of the neck, right, you see maybe some blood splatter out. And then after that blood splatter comes off, you see that potential exit wound coming out. A lot of people have said that's blood. A lot of people have said that's an earpiece. It's gone back and forth. The new footage that we're going to look at second proves what that actually was. And we're going to get to that, right? But still very interesting. A lot of it.
All right, here's the thing. In that, if I rewind that back, you will see that the earpiece he is wearing is, I don't want to say clear, but it's white. It's not a black earpiece. It's got a wire that comes down, it crosses over, goes around underneath his shirt, where it has a magnet right about here that's clipped on, and it runs down to his shirt. And depending on how, I don't know how they had their audio set up or anything else, but at the same time, you would have to have somebody to operate the audio and move from one mic to the other and control all the echo. Otherwise, everything's just going to reverberate. Kind of like if I were to turn on a device, like if I put on my phone and turned on YouTube and watched this and had it on with the volume on, it would come back through the speaker. And it would be like an echo. You would hear me twice. If that makes sense? Okay. So, white earpiece, white wire. He's not wearing anything unless he's got silk underneath, which is what was used as, protection from bullets way before Kevlar was around, etc. Silk was a form of protection from getting shot. Silk, that's correct. Very strong, still is. Anyway, so white earpiece. Now the shit I'm going to show you after we watch this, because I haven't seen this, it's going to make you go, what the fuck is that? Because I don't know what it is. And it's not like I'm sitting here obsessing over it, but I'm curious, just like anybody else. Why? Like I said, I don't like being lied to. Don't piss on my back and tell me it's raining and expect me to believe it. I'll tell you to go fuck yourself. I'm not stupid like that. I was born tonight, but not last night, baby. Come on now. Anyway, let's get back to the video. I do like this guy. He might be a gun tuber or I think that's what they're called. Some of them are really cool, real humble, and, don't act like know-it-alls, kind of like this guy and Bro or Day Bro or Bro Day. But his videos on my Monday night, I think. One of these nights it was on there. And then I try to show you what I found, which I will show you after we're done watching this video. And then if you could figure out what the fuck we're looking at on my video, shit, you tell me what you think it is. You tell me what you want. And, if it's money, let me know how much. I want to know what we're looking at. Anyway, let's continue on with the video. Let's rewind it for just a second. And here, let's look at this so you could see for yourself that what he's saying is blood splatter isn't blood splatter. And the earpiece Here, we'll just start it right here. We'll just go back to where the shot from what the other guy's saying is a assassin in a ghillie suit that's actually a bush, or a bush that's a person in a ghillie suit, or a bush with a weapon in it. I don't even fucking know. You could Google Earth the shit and see the bush has been there for quite some time. Anyway, let's get on with this. And like I said, you guys are smart. You'll figure out when you're being lied to and when you're being deceived. So of this, I have no doubt whatsoever. Anyway, let's watch this and get back to it. I apologize for getting on my soapbox. Here we go.
That we saw. This is a very good video. Looks very, very compelling, but there are some problems that we've now identified with the new footage. So let's check this out.
Which unfortunately we will blur out Charlie's face, but we will show what is necessary to prove that this was an entry and exit wound. So you'll see him circle the highlighted area right there, and you'll see the exit wound corresponding after, split second after, as it would from an entry and exit wound. So in this footage, you can clearly see that Charlie is shot from his back right, and there is blood splatter.
Okay, so this was very, very compelling at first when we talk about this. When you see this, that round, if it hits Charlie in the back of the neck, right, you see maybe some blood splatter out. And then after that blood splatter comes off, you see that potential exit wound coming out. A lot of people have said that's blood. A lot of people have said that's an earpiece. It's gone back and forth. The new footage that we're going to look at second proves what that actually was, and we're going to get to that. All right, but still very interesting. A lot of it kind of makes sense as we get into it, that potentially Charlie was shot from behind,
and it exited through the front of his throat. All of the evidence points to Charlie being shot from his back right, now including this little blood splatter that we can see here against the white backdrop, the extreme hemorrhaging from the front of his neck, which again corresponds with an exit wound, the extreme loss of blood. No matter what the caliber is, that distance, that amount of meat is not enough for most bullets to expand. I mean, 99.9% of bullets will not expand in that short distance. Okay,
this is the second part I want you guys to notice. What he just said there when he was talking about bullets, that most bullets, let's say if you had a 30-06 5.56 round, that potentially human neck is not thick enough for that round to, because when a ballistic round goes in, a Full Metal Jacket round is designed to mushroom out to like create more damage and then blow a huge exit hole out. So what he's saying there is, even though this is a small hole, because Charlie Kirk's neck is not that thick, it didn't give time for the round to potentially actually expand. And that's why it's a pretty small hole in the front for an exit wound. Absolutely could be the case, could be true. Okay.
Not to mention, I forgot who said it, whether it was Charlie Kirk's, Turning Point people or the doctor or whoever said he was the Man of Steel. Well, he didn't really have that big of a neck in the first place. This is a skinny ass white boy right here. What are you fucking talking about? You make it sound like this man is over here like the Hulk and shit, has a giant ass neck. Fucking sit here like 300 pounds or something. No, man, you're fucking crazy. I don't know how tall or how much he weighs, but if I look at him and I compare myself, I'm fucking 6'3" and 280 some odd pounds right now. I got a big ass neck. I got a neck, motherfucker. I got shoulders. I got all that. If anybody were hit, and I know bullets can do weird shit, believe me, but those rounds that they're talking about, whether it be an intermediate round or full powered round, whether it's a 5.56, a 2.23, depending on how hot it is, whether it's a 308 or a 7.62 NATO, which is a 7.62 by 51, then these are all, or 30-06 or a 7.62 by 39, which is an AK round, or another one. All these rounds, they're very powerful. Even the intermediate ones that are of a lower velocity, they will blow your fucking head off. There won't be shit left. Yeah, I get it. Bullets can do weird shit. But I'm telling you, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to Charlie, but I'm telling you, he's an average white dude. He doesn't have super bones and nothing like that. No. Does he have denser bones than a older individual, of course he does. That's normal. So he has denser bones because he's younger, not because he's fucking the Man of Steel. If you compare him with a 50-year-old man like myself, yeah, my bones, my bone density isn't going to be as good as his, regardless of my size. Okay? So as you're younger, you have, in theory, in science, it's been proven that you have a thicker bone density. So, yeah, thicker bone density doesn't mean he's Man of Steel, and he's not stopping bullets with that shit. But bullets do weird things, so that's one thing. But what they came out with, saying that the bullet, because of his super bones and all this, man, that just makes it look even worse.
Okay, so, but could have had a bigger exit wound. We can't really say one way or another conclusively, but what he's saying there is definitely ballistically possible. What I want you to look at now, the second thing, and this is going to be important because it's it's funny how these two videos, parts of these two videos disprove each video. This part, now if we look at the front of Charlie Kirk's shirt, pulling all the way up to his face like this is going to be very important when we talk about the next video. Okay, so these things I want you guys to keep an eye on. All right, so again, I'm sure you've seen his video, right? A lot of evidence, and to be honest, I'll tell you, from the acoustics people have done, we've had professional audio engineers do acoustics of the area. Most of what the evidence shows should lend towards the idea that potentially this round came from a suppressed round. We'll talk about the sound of the acoustics of the round here in a minute, from potentially behind Charlie. Okay, there's a lot of evidence that is pushing that way, but there's some problems with this video here about who this shooter was. All right, so take a look at this.
This guy's talking about this bush up here in the top left of this photo, and he zooms in on it, and he's stating that it does look suspicious. It does look suspicious. It looks like there is a person right here, and it looks like there is a rifle right here that the person is holding. A hand here, support hand, sort of very blurry image, but you can clearly make out that this is not just a bush.
Okay. Pareidolia. That's when, easiest example, you look up at the clouds and you see an airplane, or you see a face, or you see something that your mind perceives as what it wants it to perceive. Pareidolia. So you look at the clouds and you see something that looks like something in your mind. So yeah, all right. Okay, why not? Yeah, I see it. I get it. So listen, I don't know. It looks like a bush. It looks like a bush, especially since you could look at Google Earth and the bush has been there. The bush hasn't moved. It's not like a new bush. And aside from that, there's people that are standing close enough next to the bush, and if it was a suppressed round and you had a suppressor on it, you wouldn't have heard that almost thunderous bang, and people looked in a certain direction that wasn't where you would have expected to look. But based on acoustics, like he's saying, that sound's going to reverberate because you're in a giant echo chamber of sorts of location, to where he is down below and surrounded by people, and where the sound comes from and where people originally look would be going towards the east, if I'm not mistaken. And if that's the case, then that sound is going to bounce off everything that's in that almost amphitheater type environment that he's in. So it's hard to pinpoint exactly where it comes from, but by the sound itself and how loud and powerful it sounds, that does not sound like something that was suppressed. Because something that was suppressed does not sound like that. It does not sound like that. Anyway, back to it.
Okay. So this is a big problem. So when you looked at this, it's again, like it's so low fidelity, it's hard to say. We're kind of assuming things here. So I figured, why don't I find the overhead imagery of that platform and see what's actually up there beyond just this guy in the bush, which we found, and it's going to complicate some things. All right, guys. So here's this platform. Here's this supposed guy up behind here. It kind of looks like that, right? But when we see some overhead imagery of this, now we might be able to actually see what this is. Okay. And as you can see, this is obviously overhead imagery. Nobody's there, right? This potential shooter's not just still standing up here behind this bush. But if we look at this, it looks to be like some sort of bench with a bush on top of it would lend towards what looks like, you know, sort of you see something behind that bush. Well, that's probably that bench and that bush or whatever it is. Again, not saying that this wasn't potentially a shooter hiding behind this, but if we zoom in, we can very clearly see what looks to be some sort of bench and maybe, you know, a bush. Almost looks like a guy sitting there with a rifle. So again, I'm assuming this is, in that first image is such low fidelity that this is actually what you're seeing up there, not a person hiding behind a bush. But
as I said, I have not watched this video. This just came out. It popped up as soon as I saw it. But the shit that I haven't seen anything new yet. I haven't seen anything new yet to go one way or the other. But what I'm going to show you after we watch this, because I'm curious to see what he's going to show, and then I'll show you what I found. Then you tell me what it is, and you tell me what it's worth to you, and share it. Share the shit. Let's figure out what's going on here. Pool our resources together, and we can figure it out. Let's go. All right. Back to it.
Again, who knows? Again, not saying that he wasn't shot from behind or the upright, but I think the idea that that guy was behind a bush, it's kind of a long shot now, seeing that overhead imagery. And we're going to run into some complications. Was that blood blowing out the back, or was that an earpiece? And this new video shows us a lot of new information. All right, guys, the world is crazy right now. It's very easy to get super stressed out. The best way you can combat that, keep that mental health up, is working out. And if you're going to work out, you might as well use the right supplements. That brings us to today's sponsor, Tasty Gains Creatine Gummies. Guys, I love this. Creatine, and it gives us a lot of new information.
On Fox.
He just hydrate for the most part. Definitely one of the best supplements that you can take for your overall health and fitness journey. So link to the pinned comment description. Go grab yourself some. You'll love it. All right, back to the video. All right, this video is from Jesse on Fire's YouTube channel. He just put this out, I believe, this morning. And this is the first footage I have seen anywhere of the actual hit from behind. And it gives us a lot of new information.
On Fox News. And then we're going to show him specifically in the video and exactly how he behaved, because I think it answers that question pretty definitively. All right, so here's what we're looking at. He gets hit right here, and I freeze frame the first moment that it hits him. And you can see right there, it blows backwards, okay? Now we're gonna look at that again, because I think that is the most definitive thing that we've seen in terms of the direction. To me, it seems very clear that the shot came from the front, because again, his shirt blows backwards. And take a look again, and you see the way that his body reacts.
Okay, let's talk about some things here. Very, very interesting video. There's a lot going on here. I want to break it all down. Okay, is this definitive proof that Charlie was shot from the front because his t-shirt billows up from behind? Well, like I said earlier, that clip we showed, the problem with this theory is that the front of Charlie Kirk's shirt also blows way up. Okay, we've seen both the front and the back do the same thing. The other problem I'm having with this is from behind, you can very clearly see there's no exit wound coming out the right back of his neck where this potentially is pulling that shirt up from. So if there's no exit wound and the bullet did not pass through, what exactly, the bullet's not causing that shirt to get pulled up and backwards. It's potentially just still shockwave of Charlie being hit by something. And again, front of the shirt does it, back of the shirt does it. I'm not willing to say that's conclusive evidence of Charlie Kirk being shot from the front at all, based off of just the reaction. And had it just been the back of the shirt raise and we saw an exit wound, got it. The fact that the front of the shirt also raises and there's no exit wound, I don't know. I don't think that's proof of much, personally. Could Charlie Kirk have been hit in the base of the skull from the back right, which the impact of that causes both the front and the back of the shirt to raise? Maybe. I'm not sure. But could it also be a front shot? Absolutely. We're trying to figure that out. But the next really important part of this is what we can see from behind now. And that is what is very clearly not blood, and an earpiece. So I'm still framing this so you guys can see this. This is right as
what I'm
Charlie
saying?
Kirk is hit. What I want you to notice is, and we'll play.
Like I told you, you see the clear white, whatever you want to call it, earpiece and wire. So this was in his ear. It's flying up. So what the other guy was seeing in the video was this discoloration, because if it was blood, number one, that back white tent would be red, and you'd see some blood here. You would see something here. There is no way. It's just not possible. No. But there's what the first video that the other gun guy had. And like I said, he seems like a pretty legit dude. I got no beef, no issue with him. Or this guy here, he's cool. Or that other first guy that I had a couple days ago that I played his video where, you know, he was making some decent points and making sense. But you put more of certain information out there that's actually plausible and feasible and relatively logical. Yeah. So, and like I said, there's the earpiece. So this earpiece was on his ear. It's white, clear, whatever you want to call it, flesh, colored, whatever. But what you're seeing in that original shot that the first guy made with his video was this coming out. That's why what he called blood splatter didn't show up anywhere behind Charlie, anywhere on his shirt. You would have had something. There's no way possible that it is any other way. All right. Kind of like if you look at this guy right here, you see this? Do you know what this is? This is also what appears to be an earpiece. There's wire. It's, you tell me, is it an earpiece? I don't know. There's a camera there, focus right at him. There's people with phones right everywhere. That's what I'm saying. You pull everybody's resources together, you got to figure out, because you got 3,000 people over here trying to, you know, watch this guy talk, listen to him talk. And we got the FBI coming out, giving us a bunch of bullshit. Nah, fuck that. Anyway, let's go.
It in slow motion here. This is what comes off of Charlie. This is what we see from that range day video from behind. What he said is that blood splatter.
Range day, bro.
Problems with that is the color of Charlie's hair. Okay, so this is not a great high fidelity camera, so this wouldn't be picking up blood. Charlie's blood is not white. What is very, seems to me to be clear that Charlie has, and I have one right here with me, is a clear earpiece. So can't actually probably see it next to his skin that well. But when he gets hit, you can very clearly see that would not be red blood. You would not be able to make that red blood out next to his dark hair. That is obviously a white or clear piece of some type of equipment, whether microphone, earphone, not blood. All right, now let's actually watch it in slow motion. Earpiece, you can see it against his head and it flies off. Yep, you can actually see it coming down the back of his shirt there. Do you see that? Yep, there it goes. So he's basically running an earpiece up the back of his shirt, which is the way I do it when I stream, right to his ear. Apparently, that's what it looks like to me. Slow back down. Here it is again. Earpiece. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Can see it right. Yep, can see it coming all the way out of his shirt. All right, due to the color, due to the way you can actually see it, you can completely see it's some type of wired piece of equipment, not blood. That raises some massive complications for the range day video, because if there's no actual blood splatter coming out of the back, and that doesn't disprove the theory, because if this was some type of high-powered rifle round entrance wound just below the base of, you know, Charlie's skull, you wouldn't be able to see it either. Entrance wounds actually aren't that big, especially right when they first enter, right? The round hasn't mushroomed at all. And so could that be at the base beneath Charlie's hair and we can't even see it, and this still be an exit wound? Absolutely 100%. And it would even be unlikely blood would splatter out the back of his neck muscle here anyway, guys. Like, there's not a lot of blood, you know, pooled up back here or anything like that for an entrance wound to cause that. So it actually makes far more sense that was some type of piece of equipment to begin with. But again, that just sort of disproves the idea that we have this blood splatter that proves Charlie was shot from behind. Now we're back to theories, okay? Something else that's really interesting from this angle and what you can see, and I've kind of seen this in all the different angles of stuff, is now we're going to talk about the acoustics, the sound a 30-06 makes, and the reaction of the crowd. So I'm going to show you guys this. All right, keep your eyes on the crowd. Okay, notice what they continue to look at and what they don't do. So they're all looking at Charlie's been hit. The gunshot has gone off already. Look at everybody's faces. Everybody's still watching Charlie. Not a single person has looked behind them. Not one person.
You know what I'm saying? That's an earpiece.
Looks behind them when that gunshot goes off. This is important. See this guy in front? Doesn't even look at anything. It's like he hasn't even heard anything. Also, as you see here, with this guy that's running security for Charlie, I want you to look at his ear. What do we see coming up the back of his neck here? You see that clear earpiece that becomes invisible, and you can't see this earpiece at all in his ear? You wouldn't be able to see it from Charlie too. So that's the equipment that Charlie's team's wearing.
Oh, the crazy Russian Jew.
But to talk about why no, and I've looked at a bunch of different angles. We're talking about a 30-06 round, guys. I've got one sitting right here. And I can tell you, I mean, look how big the cartridge is on this compared to a 5.56 round, right? It's massive. And with that added gunpowder makes it extremely loud. I want you guys to realize this. If the shooter is 100 yards or 150 yards away, which is not very far away, in this amphitheater, and a 30-06 unsuppressed, which according to the FBI pictures, it's an unsuppressed 30-06, were to have gone off, I can promise you, everyone in that amphitheater would have jumped because it would have sounded like a bomb going off. Yep. And they would have all looked, because this is what human beings do when a giant boom goes off in a direction. They've all looked. The whole crowd would have looked up to that roof. Basically, no one other than one guy who, with the long-haired hippie dude that we saw turn around cheering, is the only person I've seen turn around and look in that direction. That tells me, and from what the crowd has said, it sounded like a 22 or a suppressed 5.56 or something. Everyone in the crowd I've seen talk about this, that's what they've thought. It's very clearly that was not a 30-06 going off on that roof, just based off of the crowd reaction. All right, so where does that leave us currently? Well, problem now is, now we're kind of back to square one, because there's no real definitive proof now that he did get shot from behind. I think a lot of the evidence still pushes that way, right? But it's very possible that he could have got shot in the front. And if we're talking about no exit wound, okay, well, if he did get shot from the front, it definitely wasn't with this 30-06 round.
No.
So now where are we at? Something's not adding up in this official story, right? Either that's not the weapon, either that's not where he was shot from. Because if he did get shot, let's say he got shot from behind, right? And it traveled through and this is an exit wound. Well, the surgeon said the body was found in the skin. So that the surgeon story and that story don't work. And then if we want to talk about, oh, well, he was shot from the front. Okay. And the bullet didn't go through and we say the surgeon story is true. That's fine. But now the FBI story doesn't work with this 30-06. That's not possible. So we're kind of right back where we started, unfortunately. But I'll tell you, we could solve this. We could solve this case right now. I could solve this case by myself right now if they let me see the autopsy and if they let me see the high fidelity camera footage from right behind Charlie. Why? Because I would be easy. It would be just immediately be able to tell, well, if he got shot in the back of the head, we'd see the entrance and the exit wound. Well, if he didn't get shot in the back of the head and he got shot in the front, we'd be able to see just the entrance wound. Show me the bullet. I mean, you have the bullet. The surgeon said the bullet's there. I mean, a forensics expert would immediately be able to say this is a 5.56, a 2.23, a pistol round, whatever. And that high fidelity footage would show us a lot about potentially what happened back here. But the two things that we need to just easily, I'm telling you, easily, not solve who did it, but solve how it was done, are the two things we're not getting. Mm-hmm. And suspicions are now, from what I'm hearing, and I can't confirm this, it's that no autopsy was done. Is that he was just immediately embalmed, and he was put on a plane and flown out with J.D. Vance, I think the very next day. Very weird things going on at Utah Valley. They're paving over the grass where that shot came from now. I don't know. Again, I don't want to get tinfoil in this video. That's not the point. But very, very odd things are happening with this. And it just gets weirder and weirder. Now the FBI is backtracking a little bit and saying, oh, maybe this wasn't the shooter. Maybe this wasn't the weapon. We got to look at multiple shooters potentially being involved. So yeah, guys, I wish. It seems like the more evidence we get, the less we have the story figured out, which is very, very frustrating. But again, both these videos are very good and they're very important, but I just wanted you guys to notice some things about both of them, and especially since one has sort of, or each of them have sort of maybe gone back and forth to disprove a little bit of each other. Because yeah, it's just, like I said, it's an absolute cluster shit show. So that's gonna do it for this one until I get more information on this, and we'll continue to try to figure it out, I guess, because it seems like we're no closer to it than when we started.
Check them out.
That's gonna do it for this one. Catch you on the next one.
All right.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles.
All right, so let's go to mine now, and let me show you what Uncle Max over here was able to find out. All right. If you watch this in its entirety, and it's in super slow motion, and you will see particles that are behind Charlie Kirk up in the left, our left corner, that seem to be moving around, flying around, and I don't know what they are. I have no idea. If you can tell me, and you can watch this and rewind it and take a peek at all these different stills. The only thing I did was try to make it as clear as possible and clean it up, but it's unaltered and unedited in any other way. So look at it. Tell me what these mysterious objects are. They're going to be on his right, our left, as we're watching it. They're going to be towards the top. There's a little camera.
Watch that
above
little
the
camera.
big black camera right there.
This-
And you're going to see pieces of all kinds of little stuff start flying around. Answer me the questions of what we're looking at, what's flying around, and maybe we can, like I said, pool all our resources together with as many people as were there and as much as was shown, plus what else ever is out there that people haven't put out. We can do this and do it the right way without the help of the United States government trying to tell us one thing that doesn't make any sense and
Watch up
is
here.
in most cases
Watch up
considered by even experts impossible. So you tell me what you think. I'm curious to know, and we'll go from there. Like I said, it's going to be on his right, our left, towards the top. You might have to freeze it and go back and forth, but you'll see several objects that I don't know what they are. I have no idea. I'd like to. I would really like to. And if anybody can help, share this, pass it on, and let's try to figure it out. All right. That's all I got, fam. Thank you. God bless.
All right. So it's just like I said, going super slow.
But here in just a moment, you'll see people say that's a protrusion right there. I'm covering that up because you guys already know what that is. We're going to go back up here. Now watch up here. Don't look at Charlie. Look up. Just keep looking up. Don't look at Charlie. If you watch this in its entirety, and it's in super slow motion, and you will see particles that are behind Charlie Kirk up in the left, our left corner, that seem to be moving around, flying around, and I don't know what they are. I have no idea. If you can tell me, and you can, like I said, pool all our resources together with as many people as were there and as much as was shown,
All right, cut that
plus
shit
what
out.
else ever is out there that people haven't put out. If you watch this in
Hold
its
on.
entirety, and it's in super slow motion,
Hold on.
this is about some bullshit here because I got this on fucking camera. Hold on. Let me find it here because I've had to do, obviously there's a lot of blood, some gore, and we're not trying to sit here and celebrate anything like that. But maybe I could, hold on. All right, let me upload this. Let me upload this real quick, and you'll see things, and I don't know what they are. I have no idea. Let me try to upload this one, actually. Hold on, this will take just a second. All right, you know what? That one will be all right. I think I can show this, and you guys will see the flying shit that I'm talking about, but I can't. Hold on here, guys. Oh, shit. Hold on. Let me get this other one because it actually shows it in a really good angle, and it actually does a really good job. Bear with me. I apologize. I thought when I uploaded it for the God knows how many times it would have showed it, but you'll see things over here flying around. I promise you, I'm not making this shit up. I just had to find one that isn't going to be all gory because I'm not trying to be the guy that's going to show you the gory video. I don't want to do that. Let me see what this one is. It's not real the clearest one I've got, but I think that it does have what I want you to see in way of shit flying around and things moving around. And I apologize. I thought that I'd this one right here, because I also am not trying to show you a bunch of gore that you don't need to see. Okay, so he shot right there. Is this going to be too gory? Maybe. I gotta be able to show you. All right, I think I can upload this one, and this one. All right. Let me upload. Just another second here. I promise you, this one is gonna be worth it. Just bear with me. You'll see what I'm talking about. This is the first time anybody's here. I'm just gonna. This is new footage of mysterious items flying around after Charlie Kirk was hit. Anybody help explain what this is or could be? Your help would be appreciated. Thank you, and God bless. Mystery objects behind Charlie Kirk. Sorry. Age restricting it. No way. I don't have any issues that I don't need. I don't want that. I'm not trying to be the best at getting banned.
And I don't really have anybody watching. I appreciate you over there, Twitcher. Appreciate all you guys and gals from wherever you're watching or not watching. Remember, we'll eventually watch someday. It's all good. It's all good. All right. You'll see this very first clip actually. Perfect. All right. It's uploading now. So bear with me. Is this the one I just put? No. Hold on. It'll take just a second, and then we'll be able to figure out what the hell this is. Or somebody will be able to figure out what the hell this is. Hopefully. Possibly. Maybe. I don't know. I said there's a lot of information, misinformation, bad information, just crazy conspiracy bullshit and just hateful shit going around talking about Israel. Israel don't have any reason to take out Charlie Kirk. Israel got no beef with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk doesn't have any beef with Israel. That's nonsense. Stop that shit. And Russia had nothing to do with either. Russia's doing Russian things, is trying to do what they do. All right, so it should be uploaded now. Let me get in here and check it out to make sure. Let's get over here now and back to mine. All right, so I go here to shorts. All right. If you watch this, no, that's not. All right. All right. Son of a bitch. Okay, let's try this one more time. Now, you see this object I have circled right here where I'm pointing my mouse. This. Look at this thing and then watch the rest of this flying stuff. I tried to blur out Charlie as much as possible, but watch these different things that are flying around behind him and tell me what this shit is. This is new footage of mysterious. This is new footage of. This is new footage of. This is new footage of mysterious items flying around after Charlie Kirk was hit. Anybody help explain what this is or could be? Your help would be appreciated. Thank you, and God bless. All right. Sorry about that. Now see, watch up here. Now watch what happens up here. Watch it. And obviously, by this point, he's hit. So if he's hit right now, boom, 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 boom. What was that? Watch right here again. What the fuck is that? What is that? You saw it, right? You got objects back there that are moving, then going back into position. The camera or whatever that is moves. Just some weird stuff, man. I don't know what to make of it. You guys tell me. I don't know. I have no idea. I just find that odd, and I find it a little peculiar that nobody's said anything about that. And there's some other stuff that if I showed you as well, I'd have to, like I said, blur it out. But at the very beginning of this video, you saw that object fly through there. There was another one just now. And as he gets hit, and this pans up, and you see right here, watch. Like I said, you'll see. Look right up here. Right up here. Look right here. Hit. Keep watching right up here. Don't. What was that? Just tell me what that was. Watch it. Wind it. Tell me what it was. And there's some other things that you could look at, but I think a lot of it has to do with his earpiece that's back behind here. So if there's shit flying around back here, then what would have caused it? Because you could see a thing flying straight down that way when the video first starts, and then around where I'm guessing that's a camera, it looks like it's got it, you know, it moves around 3-4 different times and goes back to where it was. It's just very, very peculiar and odd. This right here, if that's a camera, and the things that we see. And you can look at it again. I'll play it one more time. Like I said, I try to not make it graphic. I'm not trying to be the best and trying to get you guys to, you know, be freaked out. I'm not, it's not my thing. So, okay, hit. Now, boom, 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 boom. All right, you saw that. I don't know how much clearer you can get it. Watch this, rewatch it, check it out. Tell me what you think it is. I'm super curious to know. There's some other things I can point out. I haven't seen anybody else with this kind of content on anything, so I don't know. But like I said, we all pool our resources together with as much coverage and as many people that had cameras, etc. And there you see, first that thing goes, you got things that are flying. It, like I said, just another piece of the puzzle that we can't seem to figure out. But I'll leave it at that. You guys saw it. I don't know what it is. I don't want to speculate on what it is. I'll let everybody else do that and see if they can come up and explain to me what that stuff is, those objects that are going back and forth in different directions, etc., and what it means. Because I don't know. So I'm going to cut up some shorts. I'm going to write down the pics. I'm going to hope to see some comments, some intelligent feedback that'll be helpful and constructive to where we might be able to get this figured out. What the fuck? No one likes being lied to, especially by the government. Facts. Anyway, that's all we got for tonight. Thank you all. Appreciate you. And like I said, we're going to get it. Just hang in there. Don't get caught up in all the bullshit and believe everything that you hear. Do your own independent research. Be smart. Be diligent. Be vigilant. Be safe. And God bless. Until the next one. It's your boy Mad Max. And I'm out.